Welcome to the woods. It's sunny. It's a rare, beautiful summer's day. And this is going to be a difficult video for me to do. For quite a few reasons. When I spoke to you last week, I said I was going to do a video every Tuesday, regularly. It was something I felt I wanted to do, and I know I've been asked to do videos more regularly, so I'm going to. My only concern there is that you can end up repeating yourself. And I've done that over the last 3-4 years. I've covered the same sort of ground. And I've tried to make it interesting. Although it is just me, sat in the woods, with the chickens going off in the background. There's no editing takes place in these videos. There's no fancy special effects. It's an old guy giving you an opinion, a point of view. So thank you for any of you that have stuck with it so far. And this is a difficult one. Maybe I shouldn't have been worried about having nothing to talk about on a weekly basis. In the times we live in the country I live in, it's mad what can happen in a week. And I don't usually cover the news. This isn't one of those channels where I'll pick stories out of the news and go through them. But today, I'm going to cover a few. I'm not going to cover them, I'm just going to mention them. So about a week ago, we had a riot in Leeds. In a part of Leeds called Hare Hills. Cars were overturned, smashed, set alight, buses were vandalised, set on fire, property was damaged and people were injured. It was a riot. We know what they look like. We've seen enough of them. A few days later, a serving British soldier was viciously stabbed in broad daylight on the street in Kent. A few days after that, 3 police officers were hospitalised at Manchester Airport when they were attacked by another gang. And yesterday, 11 children were stabbed. At a dance class. Excuse me. 3 of the children are dead. 8 are critically injured. 3 dead children. Why? Why am I talking about these random crimes that have nothing to do with each other? A riot in Hare Hills, a stabbing of a soldier in Kent, police being hospitalised by a gang in Manchester, and 11 children being stabbed, 3 killed in Southport. All of those crimes, all of them, in a week, committed by minority ethnic groups in the United Kingdom. Roma, Gypsies and Muslims in Leeds. An African stabbing the soldier in Kent. Muslim Asian men attacking the police at Manchester Airport. And a Rwandan stabbing 11 children. And I haven't looked at the headlines of any newspapers because I know what I'll see. I know I'll hear the same old platitudes of don't be angry, it's not all of them. They're not all bad. And annoyingly, that's stating the obvious. But we are in a situation where our people are no longer safe, where our children are being murdered, where young girls are being brutalised and raped, where soldiers are stabbed in broad daylight. And as we saw in Leeds, where the police run away. Multicultural society is not the normal state of affairs. Things haven't always been this way. It's a relatively new experiment. No one was asked in this country if we wanted this. There was never a vote on if we wanted a multicultural, multi-ethnic society. And yet successive governments of both Labour and Conservative and Liberals have continued with this experiment. And I've heard every reason for doing it. I've heard the economic reasons. I've heard the arguments about fantastic culinary expertise, a vast array of curries and kebabs. I've heard all of the arguments for it. None of them add up to those 3 dead children. Never mind the hundreds and hundreds of others. And yet, we do nothing. We're terrified of talking out, of saying anything, in case we step over that invisible, blurred line and suddenly become labelled a right-wing extremist, a racist. So we say nothing. We keep quiet. We avoid talking about it. And the public go on with their everyday life as if it never happened. And 3 weeks' time it will all be forgotten. Quicker than that. Quicker than that. Because that's what they want. They don't want you to dwell on this. They don't want you to dwell on the horror. They don't want you to dwell on the fact that you're no longer safe in your own country, in your own city, in your own town. They don't want you to question that. They don't want you to talk about it. But you can talk about it. You should talk about it. A friend of mine said this. When they say to you, it's not all of them, ask them, how many people have to die? How many? How many is it worth? Do 10 people, if 10 people die, is that okay? Or should it be less than that? What's the number? How many people is it worth? This experiment. What is it that a multicultural society gives us that we cannot do ourselves? We were doing quite well before we were a multicultural society. We had hospitals, we had restaurants, we had businesses. I'm finding it harder and harder to find any positive. And that's difficult. It's a difficult situation. It's a truth that has to be spoken. We need to stop any further immigration, illegal and legal. And we need to seriously start talking about deporting some of the criminal immigrant population that is here. Without that, dead children, bombs in arenas, trucks through markets, soldiers being stabbed, and the police force running away will become not just a weekly but a daily occurrence. And it's easy to forget because they want you to, until it's your child, until it's your brother, until it's your sister, your mother, your father, your best friend. And then it's too late. And then it's too late. So this discussion, this multicultural, multi-ethnic society, this experiment, is it working? Is it working for you? Because it offers me nothing. I'm going to cut this short, because otherwise I'd run the risk of saying things maybe I shouldn't say. I'm upset. I'm angry. I'll speak to you soon, you lot. Let's hope next week's better. Cheers for watching.